Hello and welcome to Planetary Nutrition. In this video, I want to talk about why I am vegan. It's not something I've really talked about before because I don't love to label myself like that. People have a lot of different opinions about vegans or what that means, but it is also something that I really strongly believe in, and I want to talk about why that is today, especially because I am a nutritionist. I am someone that has put a lot of time into studying nutrition, and people have even asked me, like, why are you vegan if you're a nutritionist? Don't you know better? And the fact is that actually, the more I've studied nutrition, the more confident that it has made me about this way of eating and this lifestyle, because it is something that really strongly aligns with my values, and it is also a way of eating that can be really healthy if you do it right. So to start off, I want to talk about how I got onto this path. Like, I was always really interested in nutrition, and kind of as I was in high school, I was going to the gym. I was looking online for information, and that was the very beginnings of my interest in nutrition. Nothing too exciting. Basically was eating a lot of protein and going to the gym, as you do. But as I went to university, I lived in a flat with some friends, and one of my really good friends, he was vegetarian, and a few of our other friends in the flat were vegetarian, so we decided to be vegetarian in the flat. And I remember this friend, he was always, asking me questions, like not in a judgmental or demeaning way, but just kind of making me think about, like, why do you eat meat, for example? Things that I'd never thought about before, because we grow up and we think, okay, like, that's just what we do. We eat meat and we probably need it to survive because that's what everyone else does. That's what we've heard our whole lives. But actually, as I became vegetarian and lived like that longer, I started learning more about, animal welfare and about the impact of nutrition on the environment. And actually the next year after university, I ended up going to India and studying to be a yoga teacher. So kind of a classic thing of like vegan yoga teacher. But anyway, when I was in India, it was pretty eye-opening, I guess. Like, I come from New Zealand, and I was kind of, like, New Zealand, like, we've got a great dairy industry, like, great animal welfare for sure. Not that I knew anything about it. But when you're not seeing what's going on, it is really easy to, kind of just push it to the side and like, okay, whatever, like, we buy our meat in the supermarket. We don't see that someone's had to kill an animal. And I mean, how many of us would actually kill that animal to eat the meat if we had to make that choice? Like, for me, for sure, no. But anyway, when I was in India, I was still being vegetarian, but I was getting eggs. But then when I was walking down the street and I was seeing cages full of chickens where they were getting the eggs from, I was like, oh God, like, I don't really want to be supporting that. And then I met another friend while I was doing my yoga teacher training, and she was vegan, and I was like, okay, well, why don't I go vegan? This is something I've been wanting to do, but I just was a bit scared to make that leap. What if I'm not healthy? What if I don't get enough protein? All of these things that we think or that people around us ask us. But I took that leap, and that felt really good to me. And then after becoming vegan, I did get those questions. What about your protein? Where are you going to get omega-3s from? Isn't that really unhealthy? And so that led me further down the path of studying nutrition. And that's kind of where my interest in nutrition really grew, was from that, because I wanted to be able to answer people, and eventually I wanted to be able to help other people to go through this as well, because when I started, I was so freaking confused. I had no idea. Every time I went online looking for information, I was like, where do I even begin? And then I was listening to other podcasts with like keto people, for example, and they're saying that being vegan is the least healthy thing that you can do. It's so bad for you. And honestly, I was like, maybe it will be bad for my health, but it's something that so strongly aligns with my values, I'm willing to take that hit. But as it turns out, if you eat a well-planned and balanced vegan diet, it can actually be incredibly healthy. Among the best dietary patterns for your health, a healthy dietary pattern is something that includes a lot of whole food. So if you're eating a whole food, plant-based diet, it can be incredibly healthy. And obviously I continue to learn about veganism, so there's billions and billions of animals slaughtered every year just for food. A large majority of the animals on the planet are actually animals that are farmed for human consumption. It's really shocking, and it's absolutely horrible how a lot of these animals are treated. Obviously there are maybe a few small farms that are trying to do better, and like, that's great. Support, respect to you if you're doing that. But the majority of people that are eating animal products, they're not coming from a good place. And there's also the environmental impacts of this farming. And that's another question that I get asked a lot. It's like, well, you eat soy, that's why the Amazon's being cut down to grow this soy. But what people don't understand is that these animals that are farmed in factories, they need food. And that food comes from these crops, corn and soy, these GMO crops that are being grown to feed these animals. And it's the same thing now with like regenerative beef, and some of this coming from the Amazon. It's being grown on ranches that have been grown where the forest has been burned or cut down so the cows can graze. It is obviously a bit annoying to see this stuff because there's so much cognitive dissonance and confusion, and I get it, like people want to believe what they want to believe, but I also believe it's really important to make our decisions based on evidence, based on what is really happening in the world. And we know that a shift away from animal product dominant diets to more plant-based diets, whether you want to be vegan or not, is incredibly beneficial for our planet, using hugely lower amounts of resources and helping to support the planet, because it's really, really sad what's going on. And then even as well, we're talking about cows on land, but also in the oceans with fishing, overfishing. Majority of fish that's caught is bycatch, which is just killed or thrown right back into the sea. Such a complete waste. It's really sad. So anyway, I just wanted to share this because maybe it might inspire you. Now this year coming up, I will have been vegan for 6 years, and I was vegetarian for a year before that. So that's like 7 years now since I stopped eating meat. And honestly, I've still never felt better. I'm a nutritionist, so I know what I'm doing. I'm getting the nutrients that I need. I've actually got a video you can check out on this channel of all of the things that you need to know about eating a plant-based or vegan diet to make sure you're getting all of the nutrition you need and doing it in a way that can help you to thrive. And if you need some further support, this is also the work that I do with my clients. I specialize in vegan nutrition, and you can book a 30-minute free health consultation with me at the link in the description. This is just to support you to understand where you are so you can feel empowered and confident moving forward with the food that you eat. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Until then, stay healthy, my friends.